Attention is a fundamental factor in our lives, present in all its aspects, from thoughts and judgments to speech and imagination. It determines how we perceive and interpret the surrounding world. However, we often underestimate its influence. Attention not only registers what is happening, but also actively shapes our reality, sometimes imperceptibly to ourselves. But what if it is truly worth slightly shifting the direction of attention to transform the world around us? Managing attention is like switching a light at an intersection. A small movement can change the entire flow. By changing the vector of attention, we can begin to notice new opportunities and perceive events differently, as if reshuffling the map of our lives. Changes begin with the conscious choice of where to direct attention, and this can lead to significant transformations in our life and environment. Our life is full of thoughts and emotions that intertwine in our consciousness. Each day begins with tasks. Like the script of a new day, we focus on current affairs, but the mind looks ahead, analyzing events. This mental activity is continuous planning, where we strive to anticipate details to be prepared for twists. Thoughts flow like a river, moving from work, related issues to personal reflections and dreams. This internal dialogue is accompanied by both rational reasoning and emotional experiences. Fears and desires flicker in the depths of consciousness, surfacing to remind us of their presence. This adds richness to our inner world, turning thoughts into a turbulent river of emotions. We seldom manage to become aware of all the images, as they succeed one another like competitors for attention. The structure of our thinking is complex and requires management. Projections of thinking shape perception, influencing emotions and sensations. These mental images create filters through which we interpret the surroundings. Instead of objectivity, we often follow subjective impressions that affect perception and reactions. Thinking not only creates perception but also attracts events into our lives. Absolutely any event happening around can be interpreted differently depending on perception. The ways of perception depend on personal beliefs, experiences, and attitudes. By changing our internal projections and mental strategies, we can change the surrounding world and our place in it. Ultimately, our consciousness not only shapes the perception of existence, but also determines the quality and direction of life, offering opportunities for self-discovery and transformation. Your perception and understanding of yourself are important. Pay attention to your thoughts and actions to understand how you influence your life and those around you. This requires honesty and a willingness to look at yourself from the outside. Awareness of your influences is the key to more conscious living and personal growth. Your consciousness significantly influences the world and your life. Your thinking activity and reactions reflect not only on you, but also on your surroundings. Conscious development allows you to manage personal affairs and make positive changes in broader aspects. Increasing self-awareness and taking responsibility for actions help create a harmonious space for you and others. The world reflects our consciousness and mental state. When we are happy and successful, our positive perception influences those around us. We create a bright atmosphere in which everyone feels better and more confident. Our well-being becomes a catalyst for positive changes in society. The more we focus on personal happiness, the kinder and more harmonious the world around us becomes. To achieve this state, it is important to choose what to focus your attention on. The mind is primary, and our perception depends on it. So it is worth concentrating on what brings joy. By excluding everything that causes negativity, we create conditions for prosperity and happiness. This approach fosters a world where harmony and kindness become the norm. The influence of consciousness can penetrate numerous external factors, exerting a substantial impact on them. For example, proper concentration becomes a part of our lives, helping to shape a more purposeful existence. However, reflection or a one-time verbalization of words is often not enough to attract what is desired. Even small steps can yield results, but they are usually temporary. For sustainable change, it is important to develop consistency in thoughts and actions. By forming habits, we strengthen the connection between consciousness and reality. A systematic approach and patience help turn temporary changes into long-term improvements, significantly impacting life and the environment. Reflections on goals and desires should become an integral part of your perception, defining aspirations and worldview. Changing perception is not an easy process, especially with entrenched thoughts. Working on your thoughts requires patience, but it bears fruit. It is important not to let the thought process drift. It is a purposeful activity, like learning a new skill, where every effort brings you closer to the desired state of consciousness. Constant self-improvement induces internal changes and transforms the environment. Enhancing oneself shapes a positive atmosphere around, creating favorable conditions for achieving goals. Your perception of reality plays a key role in its manifestation. Working with the mind transforms the world, creating harmony and balance for a fulfilling life. Life is constantly changing, like a river enriched by new events that shape your inner world. Perception plays a key role in this process. What we choose to focus on fills our life with new meaning. For example, by taking an interest in a healthy lifestyle, you begin to notice nutritious foods on the table and incorporate exercise into your routine. In this way, the world reflects your priorities and beliefs. Relationships with loved ones depend on devotion and sincerity. The more you realize this, the more sensitive and attentive your partners become. A loved one responds to changes in your perception, offering tenderness and support. If you're open and accepting, your loved ones will reciprocate. It is like a dance, where your movement affects the dynamics of the relationship. Mutual understanding is achieved when both parties are ready to change for each other, ensuring stability and happiness. Well-being and health will improve if you work on developing character and personality. This will lead to inner harmony and an increase in energy. Material benefits may also increase if you change your mindset from scarcity to abundance. This approach requires time and effort but yields amazing results. You have probably noticed how some thoughts quickly materialize, while others remain fantasies. The cause of this phenomenon is the limitations we create ourselves, often rooted in our beliefs and fears. We unconsciously set barriers for ourselves, believing they are insurmountable. In reality, these limitations exist only in our minds and can be overcome. Perseverance in achieving goals and belief in one's abilities can work miracles. Do not dwell on these imaginary obstacles. Strive for new boundaries, experiences, and opportunities. Allow yourself to dream without limits, and your desires will gradually take the shape of reality. Limitations arise when we create mental barriers ourselves. Often, we do not realize that it is our own mindsets that hinder our progress. If we change our perspective on the situation, it becomes clear that we ourselves define our possibilities and limitations. This understanding is important because each of our conclusions or feelings is based on reflection. Today's thinking forms the foundation for future ideas and decisions. With your thoughts right now, you are initiating an entire stream that will shape your actions and choices in the future. Control over your thoughts opens up new horizons and opportunities. The main thing is not to fear change, and to constantly explore yourself to become more confident in your abilities. The aspiration to become a successful entrepreneur is a wonderful goal. However, doubts and fears can hinder the ability to see available opportunities. Many believe that conditions are not ideal for starting, leading to indecision. Reality is often more favorable than it seems. Overcoming fears will help take the first step toward success. You can dream of becoming an actor or director, and it is a worthy path. However, a lack of plan and understanding can be discouraging. Uncertainty often acts as a barrier. But if you study the industry, build connections, and plan, many barriers will disappear. It is important not to be afraid to start and to look for programs or people who will help unleash your potential. Taking real steps will help overcome doubts and guide you toward achieving your dream. Often, our thoughts and beliefs about the impossibility of achieving goals hinder development. Thoughts about a lack of talent or skills create barriers to self-improvement, imposed by external factors or stereotypes. These barriers exist only in our minds and limit possibilities. By rethinking them and realizing their groundlessness, we can overcome them and see new horizons. Reevaluating beliefs is important because anxiety and low self-esteem can create illusions of limitations. A new perspective expands the mind, allowing one to break free from old fears and open paths to personal and professional growth. Change begins with a small step. The moment you allow yourself to imagine them as possible, it's like the inception of an idea that at first seems ephemeral. Acknowledging the possibility of change provides you with a spark of motivation. Once you recognize this, the desire for change starts to shape your thoughts and actions. As soon as you begin to labor towards change, it starts to infiltrate your reality. Diligent work and moving forward make it tangible. Your determination sets you apart, transforming dreams into achievements. Amorphous ideas become part of your life, changing it for the better. Change becomes a part of you, and what was once a spark now illuminates your path.